we are live. This, I believe, is the 6th stream, Robotpencil stream.
Is it 6?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get to 100.
100?
Yeah.
That's a lot of streams. That's like 100 of them.
That's about 100, I think.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years? About older. About 8, 10 years older.
Yeah, stupid joke. That was stupid. You should be embarrassed.
I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it in an interview one of these days. Where do you see yourself? Older? About like 10 years.
Alright, quiet. Quiet.
Shut up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Anthony Jones, and for anyone who's just joining us, I'm sure you guys already know who I am. I can't imagine anyone random people just jumping into this stream, but, you know, who knows?
So cocky.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
So.
And then we have Kaylin as guest, host,
Hello.
speaker. Talk louder,
Guest?
dude.
Man, I'm part of the show now, dude.
Nope.
In the show.
You're
I'm like,
guest.
might as well hire me. What? Not a guest. I am.
And then we have guest John.
What's up?
What? John's next to you.
Still
How
a
is John a
guest.
guest? If
Yeah,
anyone that
no,
shouldn't be a
just
guest,
kidding.
it shouldn't be John.
So, anyways, let's go ahead and get started, yeah? And so, this stream today, we're going to be talking about the Riot Games contest, the art contest in which they put up for everyone to join. I thought it'd be fun, since I've been doing streams and stuff, to kind of get myself... Wait, hold on. Where's my mic? My mic. Get that treble. Get that treble. There you go.
Ooh, does that mean we're gonna? That means we gotta talk about contests and stuff and the dangers of contests. I feel like it's a witch hunt for contests nowadays.
No, there's no danger. There's only danger of time. But one of the things that I want to talk about is just kind of like this contest is out and all the cool stuff that they have to offer. I mean, it's great that they have some pretty cool prizes in mind for everybody. I think, what was the prizes? First place is choice of a Wacom Cintiq Companion 512 gigabyte model or just a Wacom Cintiq 24 HD Touch. Wacom, if you're listening, anyone in here that works for Wacom, tell them to get rid of the touch feature. It's stupid, and everyone turns it off. Everyone does. Except for that one guy that doesn't turn it off. 70k in Riot points? Holy crap. Get like 2 characters.
What the hell is Riot?
No, I'm just kidding. It's just Riot points. It's basically like Riot currency in their game, so you can like buy like a skin or a character or whatever with it. Works highlighted on Riot Games and League of Legends social media, and this is probably the best prize that you can be given to you. I think this is going to be awesome, and this is kind of what I'm really banking on. And then the Polycount Green Tooth Trophy, and then signed Riot Game Art Contest poster by disciplined team of your entry, which is cool. I think all this stuff is cool. Ironically, I think second place actually has some better prizes. Unless these are like, it stacks down, like you get, if you're first, you get first, second, third, right? But otherwise, like, you get like a whole new, like a NVIDIA GTX Titan Black 6 gigabyte graphics card. That's actually pretty useful.
Dude, that's how it always is. Like,
the
especially in TV art.
Yeah, the Wacom
Second
Cintiq
place
is cool and all, but I had a Cintiq. I don't need it. I don't need a Cintiq. I'll be like, can I have the second place prize if I get first place? But then, you know, but the work highlighted, like, that's really cool. So even being in third is very valuable in this for me, in my opinion. And some people might really enjoy having a Wacom Cintiq, so first place might be really attractive. But for me, it's whatevs. It's going to be just fun, and there's going to be a lot of really great artists that are going to be participating. So I definitely will be challenged as well. I mean, a lot of people are thinking that, oh, what? No, if you do it, then game over. Well, there's going to be people that are going to participate that I will believe defeat me.
Plus, you're aiming for second place, right? That's what you're aiming for?
I'm just aiming for a placement on their website, even if I'm not placed. Because here's the thing, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, because it's not so much about winning; it's about the social media part. Hold on, just a second. My wife's calling me.
Dude, you got to aim for second place. That's some baller shit. If you could like not get first,
Yeah.
like you're purposely not aiming for first.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of DeviantArt has the same problem where like their second place prizes are I'm like, dude, these are way better than the first place prize. I don't want to meet the team. Like, give me the money. I don't want to meet you.
Well, of course you want to meet the team.
I'm like, how do I get that second place?
Oh my gosh.
I want to meet Anthony Jones as the first place prize.
So you can see right here, there's all these people already competing. Which let's see, what's the last? So right now there's how many threads? Oh, there's about 4 threads. That's a lot of people already, which is cool. And you can see kind of what everyone's doing. And what's great about Polycount, because Polycount's a really good website. It's a website for artists, anyways, right? So it's really cool that they're hosting this thing, and Riot's kind of embracing it. But I'm going to be going for illustration. And illustration, the things that they want you to keep in mind is the champion should be the main focus. Action and static poses are both welcome, but characters should feel dynamic either way. The image should tell a story about something unique or powerful about the champion. You can recreate the base champion, an existing skin, or create your own design. Focus on the fantasy of the champions. Understanding the gameplay of a champ is great. Using their in-game abilities as inspiration is totally fine. But think about the fantasy of what those abilities represent, which is cool. What to deliver? A high-resolution, minimum of 3,000 pixels wide JPEG at full quality compression. Any references and sketches that illustrate process should be included as well. How Riot will judge? The Riot team is looking for a strong composition and storytelling paired with stylized characters, anatomy, and proportions. Dynamic colored lighting composition is also key to the League of Legends illustration style. Okay, cool, man. Create a high-resolution character illustration. Yep. So what I usually do, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to kind of demonstrate how I do client work as well. So I'm going to pretend that this is like me getting a job of some sort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new note. And then I'll just grab this note and I'll just extend it here. And then just put this there. And so now I have like all the information that I need. You know. And what's cool is like I can draw on this thing. Well, at least I think I might have removed that feature because I don't like the pen, the Windows default pen tool, but it was cool for some stuff. But, you know, I can do some very simple stuff to help me remember, you know. Whoops, I think it's lagging. Alright, whatever. It's no big whoop. And so, one thing that I'm going to do... Okay, there you go. One thing I'm going to do is put off to the side and just kind of have it there throughout the day. When I like work on stuff that are not related, I can be looking over there and reading. And that's just kind of how I go about it. And then now I'm going to do the R&D part of it. And while I'm doing the R&D, we can start talking about marketing. And I'm just going to talk about it for like 5 minutes, and then we're going to just open up for Q&A as I openly discuss kind of the process of which I'm doing stuff. Yeah? And then Kaylin's here too to help and to interject with anything.
Can you do the basketball guy for the... Isn't there like a basketball dude in League of Legends?
Yeah, no, there's a character named Darius, and one of his abilities is like he jumps up and like drops his axe on people. But in the community, everyone just pretty much calls it like dunking, like you just got dunked on. Yeah. And the team, the Riot team, clearly, you know, they're a community-based company. They really listen to their community very well, and they kind of take kind of stuff very seriously, even though it's hilarious. And so they're like, oh, you know, we should like just totally just make a new skin where we take this monster of a character and just put him in like a basketball jersey and shorts, and whenever he does his ultimate,
totally gotta do that guy. Dunks. You gotta draw him like in an NBA game.
No, because he's already too cool. Like it's like one of the things that I want to do that I can see that would probably be benefiting me more than it would if anything else would be create your own design, focusing on the fantasy of the champions. So picking a character that I do love. Here's what I'm trying to get at. I might do a concept in which the teams will, the Riot team will be like, oh, that's actually like, I'm trying to show them value outside of like me doing some really elaborate fan art, right? To show that I can be an asset, not only just some guy that draws the stuff that they love, you know? And this is what's getting into this whole social media part. So, one of the things that I'm going to do is, like I said, a 5-minute thing, talk about it, is that whenever you do fan art, you are marketing yourself. That's really what you're doing. And marketing yourself is a very valuable thing to do. Because as an artist, you know, especially in the art fields that we have, if you don't have a local following, like in your little town, where people will pay you for your basic drawings, then you're going to be out of luck trying to get opportunities. But what I've always talked about was networking, going to conventions, and putting stuff online. And here's a great example of putting stuff online, like going online and finding, ways to promote yourself online. And fan art is one of the best ways, one of the absolute best ways. But it has to be good fan art. Okay, and there's a few ways you can handle good fan art. Good fan art where fans of the games or the movies or the TV shows or the animes or whatever, fans of the things that you're a fan of, can see what you've done and how you influenced some more power and more goodiness to it, and why people get excited to see it. I mean, it's just something that people really can band together on. And one thing that I think a good fan art has is there's two things that I think can really divide it. I mean, obviously there can be more, but I think two things are really can keep it pretty general, but specific at the same time. One of them would be it's just a HD version. So let's say you're drawing like Ash from Pokemon from the anime or the animated TV show, right? If you just took Ash and you just like HD'd him out, like made him more realistic looking, or made him like a live action version of him or something of that quality, right? Then what you've done is you've basically here's a better example, taking like a pixel art, something that is like was only been pixel art and has always lived as pixel art, like taking the character from Fez, and then drawing like a 3D Pixar version of him. That would definitely get some attention. You know what I mean? But like you're not reinventing him. You're just kind of just taking what's there and you're just evolving it to the next level. And there's a lot of really good artists out there in the community that we all love and cherish that already kind of do this, and they do this really well. But then there's the other style, which is basically a satire, I would say. Right? Basically taking whatever it is. So now we take the Fez design, but then we not only we take the Fez design, we don't make it like the cutesy looking thing, but we make it more like a Rambo. Like, what if Fez was mixed with Rambo and Predator? Right?
What?
Satire. Right? It's like taking a concept in which we already like, and we are just adding another twist to it. Like, what if the Fez character was in Walking Dead? What would that look like? That would be really funny and really cool. Or it could be cool, right? And that's usually requires a little more creativity, in my opinion, right? I saw a thing today where a guy was was taking all the animals from all the Disney movies and making them people, like anime style, and it was really cool. And that's a good example of that. Okay, and obviously you could do a combination of the two. Like you can do a satire that is crazy HD satire, right? But in my opinion, this is pretty much where fan art can truly live. You kind of have, it's more like satire really lives in fan fiction, right? Well, all of this is fan fiction. But here's the thing too: is that most of this, I believe, like Twilight, right? Or not Twilight. 20 Shades of Grey was a fan fiction of Twilight, or 50 Shades of Grey, right? It was like a fan fiction of Twilight, and then they just got rid of the vampire werewolf part of it, and then just it just made it kind of like a love novel with a lot of banging, and I think they even kept the names. It's like that crazy. But the thing about fan art is it's in essence, like, I think other than a satire, if it's a satire, it's usually okay. But fan art, ironically, and I saw this whole lot talk about it, fan art ironically is illegal, right?
Yeah.
And people do it all the time, is why I'm saying, like, it just happens. But the thing is that why it's illegal is because imagine you're just taking someone's IP and you're basically developing your version of it, and it's it's not legal. Now, if you're selling it, that's definitely where people start to look and be like, "What? Are you selling it?" You know. But the thing about it is, in most cases, in fact, almost all cases, people don't care. Like the people who control and own these rights to these things usually do not care. In fact, those who had cared and backlashed their fans actually ran into more stipulations and problems than they did rewards, right? Because all you're trying to people want to protect their IP. That's why having copyrights is all about, right? You're just trying to protect yourself so that no one can truly steal your idea, right? Like if someone were to make League of Legends and literally took everything that was League of Legends, and then they just said, "This is our League of Legends," and it was like exactly the same, then that's stealing, right? And then you would confuse the market. It's like the whole South Park episode with the Washington Redskins, right? It's this idea that if you have two things that have the similar look and name, people can get confused, and the money and distribution of it will be confused, and then you lose that. So it's understandably it makes sense why these laws are there and why they protect people. But the reality is that fan art at this level, the level that I'm about to do, is actually harmless, and if anything, is promotion for their stuff. It's like free promotion, and it's a great way for them to reach out to the community and really give them opportunity to not only meet or potentially get prizes from their favorite developer, but they highlight it. They put it on the front page and they do all this great stuff. They really make a big deal. But one thing that I like to talk about or like to really highlight about all of this is that doing contests or fan art is not just a way to just be like, okay, look how good I am at drawing, or look how I am good at creating a new IP or whatever, or reinventing this IP. It's getting those who are controlling those IPs to look at your work seriously, and being like, hey, this guy is actually pretty good. We should hire him. Like, we should hire him to do work. And that is something that happens a lot. In fact, some of the best concept artists, specifically at Blizzard, were originally fan artists. Like, they just did fan art, and then Blizzard picked them up to do a couple illustrations here and there, and then eventually they got full-time jobs, and now they're like almost an essential asset to the company. And the reason why is because people that are doing the fan art love the games already, usually, right? And so when they hire them, not only are they hiring someone that has a talent and an ability, they're hiring someone that truly loves their franchises, or that loves their company, or loves whatever they're doing. And so they put in that extra mile when they bring them on, So it's important that you understand that fan art is not a bad thing. I think in doing contests aren't a bad thing. It's actually great practice, right? And also it's a good way to potentially get exposed. And one of the things that I would say is bad fan art would be art that is deliberately made to just market yourself, right? Like, that is almost like, you don't like this show, you don't like this game, but yeah, you know what? I'm going to do the fan art just because. And I think intentionally your fan art generally just doesn't get much better anyway, right? Because you're not a big fan of whatever you're doing. I think fan art works best when you are truly a fan of the things that you're drawing. And because you put a little bit more oomph into it. So, like, didn't people reach out to you, that the Behemoth games with the Castle Crashers canon?
Yeah, they put my stuff on the on their like Facebook page, and yeah, I was like, I got a lot of funny messages about that, especially when I did the Dead Space Castle Crashers combination. That was pretty funny when I drew that out. People got like heated about that. They're like, you can't draw a cross on the character, and I was like, what? And they're like, you can't draw a cross. It's like, it's anti-Christian. And I was like, oh, my bad. I'm like, but doesn't it take place in the Crusades? Like, isn't that okay? But it's cool though. Like, people like it, and I guess we make that because we played that game all the time at Crazy Pixel. It's a funny game.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I just wanted to kind of put that out there. And now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to pick a champ. I'm not entirely sure what champ. I was supposed to choose before I started the stream, but I was busy doing some programming. I was trying to like figure out a
Pick
thing.
the basketball one.
Yeah, and some freelance earlier too. So I'm just kind of like trying to make video games. But I want to do this contest. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm looking into it right now. I'm not sure which champion. But are there any questions, John?
Yeah, there are.
Why is he not picking the basketball?
Someone said, "How do I keep myself from feeling shitty after I find out I didn't get that gig I interviewed for?"
Just don't.
Damn, that's so sad.
Don't worry about it. I mean, you just won't get like if failure was something that bothered me and got me stressed out, then I would have stopped long ago.
Yeah.
It's the difference between those who push forward and become much more successful, to the people that stay complacent and complain. So you need to decide quickly what kind of person. Where do you sit? What line? What side of the line are you on? Are you on the side of it where failure gets to you to the point where you're like, why even do it? What's the point? Or are you the kind of person that says, you know what? What did I do wrong? Or what can I do differently?
Exactly.
And because for every failure is an opportunity to learn and become better, right? Like I like Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan said something along those lines where he said, a thousand.
I missed over like 1,000 shots.
Yeah, like he's like a commercial, like a Nike commercial, right? And there's
Yeah.
like this awesome like Air Jordan commercial about like, yeah, he's I lost 1,000 shots, hundreds of games, millions. Like he goes on all these things he did terribly. And
Yeah, he says I failed over and over and over again, and because of that, I succeed.
Yep, boss.
Yep. Boss, Michael Jordan buys.
Let me write down some of my favorite characters because I love Miss Fortune. I haven't played her for a while, but
Yeah, you shouldn't let it get it done. If anything, it should just motivate you to kind of like prove them wrong a little bit, to kind of be like, all right, like they don't think I'm good, like I'm gonna show them. Like I want you come back stronger, So then they'll come back and they'll be like, oh my god, like how come we haven't hired you? And you'll be like, I tried to apply, bitches, but you weren't feeling me. But now you feel me now, hire me. So if anything, it should just just use it as motivation to like. If someone's better than you, don't feel shitty about it. If you don't get a job, don't feel shitty about it. It should just be like motivation. Like art's such a cool thing because we're never going to be satisfied with it. Imagine like other people that have careers that they master, right? Or they master it and they've done all they can do in that career. That would suck. That'd be like the suckiest feeling to like master something and you're like, well, what else can I do? Like I've done it all. Art, we don't have to worry about that. Like we can always strive to get better. So I mean, like failure is kind of like the fun part about it because there's always something new to learn, something to get better at. So it's like you never get bored. Like you should be excited, I guess, to not get jobs, which sounds kind of silly in a way.
no, don't listen again.
I love not getting jobs.
I mean, let me just comment on one thing that I might disagree with. Is like mastering something. Is a near impossibility. It's just one of those things that you may be one of the best, and potentially the best at something, but those types of people generally will move on to something else to start to get better at. Like when you start to reach a threshold in which you're just like, well, what else can I do, right? And this is how like people get even crazier and better because then they start to evolve. Like if they become an astrophysicist, but then they start to Neil deGrasse Tyson's a cool example because he's like an astrophysicist, but he also loves poetry. So if you ever hear him talk, like he's always talking like in
he is
like a poet. But he loves poetry. He reads a lot of poems, And so the kind of point I'm trying to get at is, if you start to think about it, it's really just about just trying to be the best you can be and stopping when you're happy where you're at. And if you're happy at a certain level, I think that's fine, You just happiness is the goal, right? And one thing that I like to try to tell people is try to be happy now. Like don't wait to become happy. Don't let like some sort of weird life event become the standard of when you're allowed to be happy. Just try to be happy with the things you have now. And then just add on to that happiness with more things, right? Try to get rid of all the stank in your life versus try to find ways to improve your life.
Stinky. Next question says, I am going to BlizzCon next month. It's for AJ.
Sick.
I've never been. Is it easy to meet artists? Are the artists down to meet fans? Also, is it bad form to ask for portfolio reviews at BlizzCon?
No, they actually have a booth where you can do that. Like, specifically just go there and show your portfolio. So it's not bad form at all. And as for meeting artists, I think just go to the events. They have like art panels and all this stuff. There's opportunities in which you get to like listen or watch the artists talk about something, and then excuse me, and then you can go actually hang out with them afterwards or talk with them afterwards. You know. So it's just really up to you what you think. What do you think would be fun to do, right? And I'm sorry, it's up to you. Who do you want to hang out with after? And it's just like, just be normal and be nice. Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Like there's no right way to approach someone, right? There's just wrong ways, right? Like don't go up to somebody and be like, "Yo, World of Warcraft, let me tell you about my level 90, man," and then just go off on something like that, where no one wants to hear about that.
I kind of want to hear about it if you talk about that.
Because we have good stories.
I'd be like, all right, let me get the This is going to be a great story.
But that's not like you don't like just start a conversation like that is what I'm getting at. Like, why? Just because you want to prove to them that you like love their games.
Yeah.
There's a better way. You could just be like, dude, great demo, awesome stuff. I'm a big fan of your work and all the stuff you've done. Stuff like that. And then like just kind of organically try to create friendships versus just networking. I hate that idea of what a lot of institutions.
Give me a job.
Yeah, give me a job. Since I'm talking to you, you have to give me a job.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Give me a job.
Someone asked, have you got any books on environment or painting? Or recommend any? How about that? Because I know you guys both have a shitload of books.
Dreamworlds is a good one.
Yup.
Specifically environment. So
specifically environment? I'll let AJ answer that so I can laugh.
Dreamworlds.
I'm just kidding. Whatever you're gonna say, I was gonna like laugh hysterically at it. Never mind. It was a lucid one for you. A good book you can get, I like, is
Dreamworlds.
Dreamworlds by Hans Bacher. He's an old Disney guy. Really good. Anything that you like from like Lion King or Mulan, a lot of the stuff, he's behind that. Marcus Mateu, Framed Ink. That's really good for composition. If you want to learn stuff about composition, that's a really great book. And then one that I really like, because I'm kind of a landscape guy, or I like landscapes, is Edgar Payne, Outdoor Guide to Compositional Landscape Painting. And that's a really good book. That book was like written in like the 1950s, but a lot of the stuff that he talks about, just theory and just hard work in general, like being an artist, I still think like applies today, like very, very well, even though it's like 2014. So that's probably one of my favorite books, is the Edgar Payne book. So hopefully that helps.
So in terms of marketing yourself, is it best to diverse yourself in other places, like illustration, storytelling, marketing?
Wait, I'm sorry. Say it again. I'm like focused right now.
In terms of marketing yourself, is it best to diverse yourself in other places?
Wait.
So do more than one thing, right? Like be an illustrator, be a concept artist, or...
I generally say focus on one thing. Try to become a master at something. Be really like if you want to be what do you want to be? Like if you want to be a character, like you want to be a character concept artist or environment concept artist, or you want to be an illustrator, or do you want to be a mech guy or vehicle guy, or there's like all kinds of stuff that you can be. And it's best to just pick one and just push yourself in that capacity. Because once you do get at least one of these things, your knowledge, your fundamental knowledge becomes much easier to evolve from, right? And so it's like highly recommended by me that you pick one thing that you would do, and then evolve into others. Like, it's being a jack of all trades but a master of one type of thing. And then in that capacity, then you just do all kinds of stuff that are related to those things that you want to do. Because if you don't like to do illustrations, but you're just doing it because you want to get a job, you'll get a job at illustrations and then you'll hate it. Or if you like to do characters but you don't like to do environments, you'll get a job doing characters if you have a lot of character stuff. So it's just keep it pretty simple.
When did you guys start doing digital painting? At what age, and how long did it take you to get a job?
That's funny. When did we start? I don't know. I guess for me,
2007. I was 23.
2007. I don't know how old I was, but I was younger than AJ because AJ's old.
No.
How long did it take us to get good? That's a weird question. I don't know. I feel like you're always learning. But mostly in school that we learned, right? I learned from I learned from Edgar. I saw Edgar painting. I was just like, holy shit, this is awesome.
I would say to me it was like to get good to the point where I actually felt like I was actually any good. Maybe like 2.5 years. But my first job was like 1 year in. Like once I started drawing when I was 23. The first thing I ever drew when I was 23 years old. Like try to become a professional. I mean, everybody drew when they were kids, of course, but I was not a kid that drew or painted or anything. I learned all that when I started around the age of 23. That's when I started really learning it on a serious capacity. And then once I started getting really better, like much better at it, like that's when I started taking it even more seriously. And then my first job was with Hasbro, but I was debatably, I always thought I was good. But I realized, like looking back, like clearly I was much better. Like when I started actually getting good was when I worked at Sony. That's when I actually started getting like truthfully good. And then, but that was like about 2.5 years in, I think, of like just starting out. But when I say 2.5 years, I mean like every day was like a grind. I didn't have much distraction. I mean, I had a girlfriend at the time, but then that didn't go so well. And after that, after the breakup, like I was even more hardcore into it. So it's like just so I had to keep my mind off of it, And so I mean, I drew and painted a lot, and I still do. That's the thing. Like I haven't really slowed down too much. Like instead of drawing and painting every day for 12 to 14 hours. Now I'm drawing every day from 8 to 10 hours. Like I still draw a lot, or at least think about creative things and artistic things often.
Yup.
What specs are on your guys' computers? Do you use PC or Mac?
PC, man.
Back. I was kidding. It's really funny. I'm a Mac guy in general, but I have a PC now. And AJ always hates on Macs because he's a hater. But yeah, PCs are kind of become. I think PCs are easier for what we do, just because if you ever want to get bootleg programs, they're easier to get on PCs. But you didn't hear me say that. That didn't happen. But yeah, PCs are kind of more common, I would say, than Macs. And the specs, I have like a 32 gigabyte. I have like an i7 core. I don't even know what it is. I paid a guy to make it for me, and the shit's tight. So I don't know. I don't know my specs. I was like, here's a lot of money. This is what I wanted to do. I'll see you in a week. And then he took my money and ran, and I don't know where he went.
Never saw him again.
Never saw him again.
And he died.
I don't know. What you got a new computer though, didn't you, AJ? What is your computer?
Yeah, just have like a pretty good processor between dual quad cores. I think this one has like 8 cores, and my other one has 12.
Solid state.
40. Yes, gotta have that solid state. And then nothing under 32 gigs of RAM. Not even my laptop. Like, you just gotta have that RAM, dude. And
32 gigs on your laptop? God damn, what are you trying to paint?
Absolutely. Dude, you don't understand, man. Clearly. No wonder, man. No wonder your work. No wonder.
You're trying to
no wonder,
apparently
man.
you're trying to paint something to put on the side of a fucking building, apparently.
No wonder, man.
25,000 pixels.
No wonder, man. No wonder, man. I was curious all these years, and now I know.
You know, because apparently I'm not trying to run like 5 Unreals.
No, now I know. Now we know. Now the truth is out. Now we all know.
It's your computer, guys. That's why.
All right, go on to the next question.
You know, when people ask, like, what brush should we use? Like, I say, what computer are you running, dude? That's a better question. Okay.
I'm currently revamping my portfolio and website. It is a portfolio showcasing my 2D art. Would you recommend including construction shots underneath each project I have showcased? Would this be beneficial to employers/interviewers?
Wait, say it one more time, John? Sorry.
Revamping my portfolio and website. It is a portfolio showcasing my 2D artwork. Would you recommend including construction shots underneath each project I have showcased?
Yeah, so the best things to put in your portfolio are usually iterations on final paintings. So whatever that can consist of. That's pretty much it. Like, you put final paintings in and illustrations. And then avoid all that gimmicky, like, logo and weird kind of border stuff around everything. Just images, images, images. That's all you really need to worry about. All the other stuff is nice, but it's like such a unwanted thing in most cases. No one really... People are just paying attention to the art. They're not paying attention to your craftsmanship. They're paying attention to, like, can you draw a thing and can you do iterations of that thing? Like, because iterations proves that you can take direction, potentially, you know? It means that, like, you don't just draw one thing at a time. That you may potentially actually draw more than one thing at a time. And then that is valuable to employers because then they can, like I said, they can get a gist of whether you take instructions or not from that, or if you can.
Question for Kalen. Any good character creature books?
Oh.
AJ can answer that too.
No, I don't want to answer that.
Oh, what? That's fucked up, man. Good character creature books? Alright, well, I like Skillful Huntsman. That's kind of a throwback one for me.
Classic.
In there. Any of, like, art of books, I'm a big fan of those. Like, any, like, a favorite video game. So, for example, like Uncharted or, like, you know, anything like God of War, that kind of stuff. Any of those kind of art books. So I usually look at, like, my favorite artists and try to find out, like, what they're working on. And those are usually, like, my favorite art of books. I don't think I have a favorite book, actually, in, like, character design. I feel like, if anything, what I personally like is, like, good anatomy books, because I always need to work on my anatomy, so I like stuff like that. But for character design, I think it's usually, like, just find your favorite artist. So I love like Ryan Meenderding, or I call him Ryan Rendering because I can't say his last name. So his name to me is Ryan Rendering. But like, he's a Marvel guy, right? So, like, any of those Marvel, like the art of Marvel books of, like, Iron Man and stuff, he just does, like, these sick ass paintings of, like, you know, Captain America and stuff, and I'm like, dude, that's sick. So for me, I just find my favorite artists and then I go from there. I don't know what AJ's favorite books are, if he has any.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. Much better than me.
So, oh, nice try. Try to stump me. Nice try.
Yeah, I think anatomy is big. If I had to pick a book, though, I learned a lot from J.C. Leyendecker, like his books, any one of his books, and Andrew Loomis. So
Steve Hampton too. Steve Hampton's book.
Steve Houston?
No, Steve Hampton. Michael Hampton.
Steve Houston.
Well, Steve Houston is great to see live, but Michael Hampton, remember?
I know who he is. I'm just joshing you.
So don't act like you don't know him. He has a great book too. His book's like $20.
Don't act like you. Don't act like you like. Don't act like don't. Wait, what?
Don't act like you act like.
Don't you act like I don't like what? Shut up.
I don't know what you're saying. AJ, nice what beard that be? How do I grow such superb facial hair?
Damn. Don't answer the question, bro.
Just grow it. Wasted your question, man. What a waste of
Do
your
you guys
question.
prefer sketching digitally or traditionally?
Both.
Digital.
I like both.
Okay, dude, who cares? Damn.
Yeah.
I think it just depends. Like if you don't have a I think you need to know how to do both. Obviously, sketching digitally is probably more efficient because then you can send your stuff out right away to clients or whatever. If you need to like post it right away. Whereas if you sketch it out on paper, then you gotta scan it and do all that kind of stuff. But I still like the idea of sketching out on pen and paper just because sometimes it's just that it's very analog, right? You don't get stuck. You don't get stuck with all of like all the cool buttons and features of Photoshop or whatever program you're using. It's just you and just your hand and the pen and paper. So I think
perverted.
Your hand in your room and some lotion and some music, and it's just you and your monitor looking at you.
All right.
Creep.
Just like that's creepy.
If you win, AJ, what are you gonna do with your RP?
My RP? Probably buy
If you win the competition, will you give us skins to everyone who watched the stream?
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Can I do that? If so,
I don't think they're allowed. I don't think you're allowed to do that. They're gonna call you.
Like you can gift RP by like buying it and then sending it to somebody, but I don't know if you can transfer your RP. I don't know.
But speaking of that, we should do some giveaways. Like now, if we're gonna do this stream every day, I feel like we need to do some giveaways. We should like
shut up before you start promising things that we cannot guarantee. Dude, we should give people T-shirts. We should just give people T-shirts.
Well,
all right, we'll buy some T-shirts,
like,
bro.
All right, think about like the CGMA thing, right? I had that extra ticket that I gave to you. Right? What if we did something in the future where if we get like extra tickets somewhere to like BlizzCon or something like that, we can give it away like a raffle.
You know what? Let's do that. No, that's a great idea.
I mean, like people are coming in and supporting us, stuff like that. I think we need to like have like some giveaways. Like, I mean, it's not easy. It's easy. Like, I get like free games all the time from like Sledgehammer and stuff like that from Brian and Larry and them. Like, I'll just grab a game and instead of me playing it, wasting time playing a video game, because I know you're gonna get on my case about it. I might as well bring it in the stream and do some giveaways.
That we will.
People know that we support them, we like them. Apparently, AJ's like, "Fuck you guys." I'm playing that game for myself.
No, I honestly, one of the things I was thinking about too was like the Wacom companion or the Cintiq. I was going to give that away actually. Do some sort of concert, do like a secondary concert if I got that. But I have no power in winning, other than trying to just do a really good job. But so I'll promise these things once I win these things. Now, if I knew there was like a fan voted type situation, then I would totally be like, dude, let me win this thing and I'll get you guys some stuff. But it's not, so I'm just gonna try to just win it, so then I can make those types of promises.
Well, I'm sure
because I don't need a Cintiq, man. I don't like them. So
yeah, I don't like them either.
I'll give that away, man. I'll get it and then I'll just make a contest and for people to win it.
We'll get some free stuff at CTN. We can give that away. We'll have some giveaways for that.
Let's do that. Let's buy some sketchbooks or something, and then
yeah. Let's buy some art books.
Like
I don't mind dropping some money on it. Like
double books, and then just
we'll have one like every month.
Whatever, John. Jesus. You're breathing, man. It's stressing me out.
Just have to breathe every now and then. Might die.
It's hard to breathe.
Someone asked, should I do Blitzcrank, Udyr, or Volibear? Volibear? For the contest.
Oh, yeah. Contest.
Up to you, buddy. I don't know.
Shit.
I don't know. Wait, say him again, because I don't play the game. I'm gonna tell him which one.
Blitzcrank, Udyr, or Volibear?
Volibear. That sounds epic.
Volibear is cool. He's one of my favorite tanks.
He's a tank?
Yeah, like he's just this giant polar bear. Yeah. And like
giant polar bear? That's awesome.
Oh, that guy? Yeah.
Like the Ninja Polar Bear video a long time ago on YouTube. Like, do that.
I learned today Ruin Jaya usually spends 1 to 2 months on a painting. I was surprised. What's the longest time you spent on a painting?
Like a week or two.
Sounds about right.
What about you, Kalen? Yeah.
Yeah, probably the same thing, like a week or so. I don't think I lack the patience. It's really bad to like.
That's really what it is. I just can't sit down for more than that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like as concept artists, like, fast. So like having to spend more than like a week, I feel like it's almost like torture. Like I'm being punished.
I'm curious to what that few months is, because I'm sure it doesn't take him that long. I'm sure it's more of an iterative thing, and if that's the case, then I would say, yeah, for me, I've done things that took months for them to get approved, but that's no foul to the process. It's more foul to the development.
Yeah, I don't think it takes them that long. I mean, when you're that good, chances are you're pretty freaking efficient, and you can just do it. So, I mean, I think of people like Charles Hugh, right? That guy can do like real paintings, like relatively short. Like, so I don't know, maybe.
Does a good drawing tablet pay off or nah?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. Like, you want something that makes you feel like you can draw, so you're not frustrated at every single stroke you make. There's people all the time that complain about like, I can't get those lines, and I get that, man. But I mean, once you solve that, then it's like, can you paint? Like once you've solved that issue,
if you still suck after that, then just give up.
Yeah, exactly. Join our mentorship.
What are some good tips and trips on working on your creativity?
Doing other things outside of what you normally do. If that makes sense. So I feel like your creativity is the stuff that you know, so you only draw from what you know. So if you're having trouble being creative, chances are like what you're drawing from, you've already drawn from that. So that's why I think it's good to like have hobbies or do things that are unrelated to art, because then it can always kind of spark an idea. But that's just personally. I don't know about you, AJ.
Yeah, exactly that. Like you can't draw stuff that you don't have in your brain already. And there's this really kind of weird conception of creativity. It's like you either have it or you don't. The reality is like you're creative by the amount of information you have stacked into your brain. If you don't have that much information in your brain, you're going to have a harder time being creative. And that's just, to me, it's just really kind of that. And then the next step after that would be practicing it. You know, practicing that ability to be creative over and over again. You know? And so it's really, really important that you understand, like, being creative is just gathering more information. And, like, for example, like, one of my people in my classes was talking a lot about how he has all these ideas in his brain, but whenever he tries to draw them, he can't put them down for whatever reason. And I explained them very much what I'm explaining to you, and I'm saying it's not that you don't know how, or it's not that you don't, like, you're not creative, like, or you can't replicate these things. It's because you don't know how to do that. Because, like, do you know how to draw a cougar without looking? Like, an actual, like, feline? Yeah, exactly. Can you draw it without actually looking at a photo?
They always use that sound in, like, every freaking movie. It's, like, that same sound.
Yeah, they do.
You know, and if you can, then you're gonna have a much easier time drawing these types of things, right? And so, so I always recommend people, you know, just practicing the knowledge, like getting that knowledge in there. It's not just to be able to paint better, like anatomy. It's also for like being able to just come up with cool and interesting ideas. You know, it's just not as simple as you may think.
What's a good monitor these days? Does it need to have 99% Adobe RGB?
It helps, man.
Yeah, it helps. But even then, you still have to get a good calibrator. I'd probably invest in a good calibrator before you maybe want to get a monitor, because monitors can be pretty expensive.
If you get a good calibrator, high-end gaming monitors okay to work with?
Yeah, I think anything gaming specifically, like gaming gear all around the board, is usually good. Like, I'm using a gaming headset, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, gaming headsets are awesome. If you want a good monitor, I think the standard for me that I like, if you have the money, the dream colors I think are like the best ones you can possibly buy. Just because they use those, like they literally like take the monitor like off the stand and they carry it with them and they hold it like iPads when they film movies and stuff. So the dream colors are pretty crazy. They use those a lot in film. It's like really accurate, and it has a lot of different like calibration settings you can use. But if you don't want to spend that much money, then I think a good alternative is the Dell Ultra Sharps. They have the thing is called like Dell Ultra Sharp Premium Color. Those like you can't really tell a difference that much, and it's significantly cheaper. So I would maybe go with that one. But yeah, I would also invest in a good like color calibration. One good one's called Color Monkey. They're spelled like Munki, and those are good if you really want to make sure that like what you're painting and the color and things that you're selecting are accurate color information. So that always sucks when you paint something and then it doesn't look right.
Could you guys do a stream a little bit earlier for the viewers in Europe? Because I'm watching this at 3 a.m. and I have school tomorrow at 8:30.
Unfortunately,
yeah,
I really can't.
No,
No, it's not that I don't want to. Like, it's because I have a family and stuff like that, and I need to get stuff done as well during the day. So
dude, why are you in school? Just drop out.
But to no, to compensate for that, we put these online, so you can watch it later. You don't have to. You don't necessarily have to watch it like live. And if live is because you want to get those questions in, like the kind of question you just did, which you just wasted. I'm just kidding. If you want to get like a real question in, I think what we can do for that is like when I put the Facebook announcements, we can have people just write it in there. I'll just attach John. Idea. I can just attach John to them, and then
I forgot. Like, where are people coming from? I wonder who's the furthest person from where we are.
Yeah, people. I have a lot of people that are fans overseas, so I get it, man. I try to think about you guys too. I was trying to go a little bit earlier just so that it's not too late, but for me. But at the same time, like the stream needs to end actually pretty soon.
He said he's still in school because he's 16 years old, Kalen. Can't drop out.
Okay, yeah, stay in school. That's pretty important. It's illegal. He's like, I can't leave. It's illegal. Damn.
How old are you guys?
That's so funny.
Yeah, but the person who's the furthest away gets a prize, like geographically from California.
We have to ship that prize.
All right, Kalen, can you like? Can you like?
Not give prizes
up? Whoever's the furthest and the one that has the hardest shipping
address
will get a TV. It's like, all right,
a TV.
Okay, let's just say it all, whatever. Not thinking about my family. You know what? Let's do prizes. Okay, first person to say I love dogs gets all Kalen's dogs. Let's do this. Let's start giving out prizes. Let's start doing it.
Hey, I didn't say that I wouldn't buy the prizes.
All right.
How old are you, AJ?
I win. I am 30. I am 30 years
Kalen,
old.
how about you?
I'm 12.
Kalen forgot how old he is.
No, I'm 20. I'm 27. I'm 27.
Kalen forgot.
And I'm 28. If you guys,
I forgot. Like I kind of forgot just minute. I was like, "Fuck, I'm getting old." Like, is it 26? Like I don't do birthdays anymore. Like before you celebrate a birthday, you're like, I know how old I am. It's a big ass party. Everyone's coming to it. Like I know.
I think after 21, like everything just starts to become a blur.
Yeah, it becomes a blur. I have to think about it. I'm like, wait, was it 27 last year or this year? Like, all right.
What is your favorite color? The one you feel like using the most. The one you dislike the most.
I like all the colors. But
wait,
my favorite.
You asked one you don't like?
The one you don't like and the one you do like.
Client asks you to paint with red. I hate red though. What?
I don't like yellow because of Edgar.
Red.
Edgar.
Yeah, because it just put some yellow in it.
Yeah, that's Edgar's always. It's always Edgar's like theory to everything. Put yellow in it. Like I hate yellow now. I do like not like yellow because I think it's a hard color to use. Actually,
I like all colors. I don't have a color that I don't like. I think it's all contextual, right? Like it depends on the situation. But
black.
Like yeah, I don't like to put a color in if it obviously doesn't work. But then I won't like the color. But that's contextual. That changes every time. But my favorite color though is reddish orange. It's kind of like a rust orange. I love that color.
Yeah.
How'd you get that color? I like rust orange.
Oh, dude. No,
What happened to you in your
rust. Life? No, it's just rust happens to have that color. It's not because of its rust. Oh no, I like black hearts, black songs, black people. Everything is black because of the darkness. No, it's not like that at all.
I don't think I've ever seen
that color. It's really nice.
Though, ever.
Oh yeah, it's all over the place. I'm like literally using it right now. Like I just started painting with the guy right now.
No, I'm just saying like fashion wise. I don't think I've ever seen you wear like an orange.
Oh red. No! Whenever I dress myself in black, mostly black and gray, like all these saturated colors. It like I said, it's my favorite color, but I don't normally wear it because I don't think of color that way. Like I need to wear color. Like this is my favorite color. I better wear it all the time to represent. Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me to think of it in that terms.
Whatever.
Oh, you know what would be cool? If,
do you like eggnog, AJ?
You know what would be cool would be yeah, I love eggnog. Stop asking such silly questions, guys. Everybody, just like trying to get real personal, dude. Because I'm sending you some eggnog, whether you like it or not.
Homemade eggnog that we just don't know how to do. It just tastes like shit.
Just dangerous with bioweapons. Oh, dude, I'm gonna do a Breaking Bad. What's the guy's? God
Walter.
Oh, no, Heisenberg.
Yeah, Walter White.
Well, yeah, I know it's Walter. I was trying to think of the cool name, not his real name.
Who are your favorite artists that have awesome colors? Mine, I like Laurel Austin.
Yeah, she's a good one. That's a good.
LD, yeah, Tully. Tully's the shit.
She's really good. I would say Rune Jaya. I like the way he uses colors. He puts rustic orange on everything too. Like his colors don't make any sense, but his values are on point. I love it. I love the combination of like nonsensical colors with amazing values. And then I also love Nathan Fowkes. He's probably one of the best that I think. But you know, it's all relative to me. It's all contextual. Depends on what I'm trying to look for, what I'm trying to do. But I think those are good. All right. Is there any more questions? Because
yeah, there's like 6.
All right, we got to thunder around this. Let's go.
Let's see. Maybe for the giveaways, a suggestion. You could give away a mentorship.
Okay, well that would have to be a pretty significant contest in which I would want people to participate in some sort of capacity. But yeah. Why not?
When you said just do one thing, to get jobs. E.g., just characters with no backgrounds. Does this really work if you want to work your way up in smaller companies? I only really see AAA studios employing people purely for one 2D role.
I mean, then the question I would have to ask for you is that then what do you want to do? Because it seems to me you don't know what you want to do. You just want to get a job, and that's probably the worst position you would be in. Like, if you're more concerned about getting a job, you're gonna have a harder time getting a job, right? It sounds like backwards. Like, wait, what? I'm trying to get a job. Like, no. You should be doing something that you already like to do, and then people will start to approach you. It works that way, better. Like, so when you go network somewhere and you show them an amazing portfolio with a lot of character designs, they're not gonna be like, well, since you have no environments in here, you're not gonna get the job. You know, like we're looking for character people, but you know what?
Don't do it because you think it's easy. Because everything's hard. It's hard to get a job in every field. So if you think that it's easier, then that's kind of the wrong approach. Just because, let's say you do get a job doing it, then you're gonna hate it because it's just like.
I worked at 2 small studios, and I did nothing different with my portfolio. I've always just drawn characters. It's because I love to draw and paint characters, and every once in a while I'll do an environment or illustration or something like that. But characters, man, that's where I live. That's my bread and potatoes. And so you have to understand that too.
Is your November character mentorship full? When can I join it?
November is done. November is done, sirs. Okay, next.
What is a good chair to work in for long hours?
I don't know.
Wait, say that one more time.
For that, right? What's a good chair?
A good chair for long hours?
Yeah.
I prefer Herman Miller because I've sat in those. Those are freaking baller. You should buy one of those, AJ, if you're gonna sit. I probably have to pick one up eventually. They are expensive, but I have to buy one because I actually suffered a pretty bad adductor groin injury through soccer. And so now I went to a physical therapist recently, and he was like, "Yeah, if you're sitting down painting all the time, like either get a standing desk or get a really good chair because it's gonna hurt you. So you don't sit for too long." So I prefer Herman Miller. They're called Arion chairs. Or if you have like really good money, then the Embody chairs are really good too. But there's like you should always invest in a good chair and like a good like wrist support and like a good bed. Like those three things will help you if you're doing long hours.
I should probably get a better bed. I'm gonna talk to Bea about that tonight.
Yeah, if you invest in a good bed and you get a good sleep, you wake up in the morning, like your mind's on point. You're gonna do better work. So yeah, a good bed, a good elbow support that you attach to your desk, so you work more from your arm, not your wrist. So it saves you a lot of stress on your wrist. And then a good chair. Those three things will save you a lot of problems in the future when you get older.
Lately, there's a trend to copy other artists, and that it's not bad, but I think you should be yourself in art, otherwise you'll be fake to your own core. Not trying to be someone else, you won't be happy in your art. How do you guys think about this?
I think copying people is clearly wrong.
Right? Yeah, if you're like copying it one for one, then that's weird. But
yeah, but if you're studying from somebody, I don't think that's wrong. In fact, if you're copying an artist, one of the things that could happen is that you will have a harder time getting the job because specifically they'll just go to that artist. Like, why hire you when they can just hire the source? And
yeah, exactly.
And then, but to be influenced by it, like, see, the thing about what you said too, which is really interesting, is that you being yourself. What does that mean? What does being yourself mean? Because you are only a collection of information that you've gathered throughout your career, your whole life, right? Yeah. So if you don't gather any new information, then who you are is actually quite boring, right? And for me, like, for example, I love thousands of artists, thousands of art styles and art peeps, you know, and what my style evolves into is a collection of all these people in my brain, you know?
Yeah, taking what you like and what you don't like about people's work and then kind of creating your own style, essentially.
Yeah, mostly what I like, right? Like, I don't really focus so much on what I don't like because it doesn't benefit me. But I definitely think about it, right? Like, I think about, like, why I don't like it, potentially. But at the end of the day, I think mostly about how I want to be as an artist, you know? Like, what do I want to do as an artist?
Like a super artist.
Yeah, and then everything else will be influenced by those things afterwards, which is cool. And so for me, I think it's really important that people understand kind of what you're saying, which is, you know, copying art is bad. But also I think people should also understand that studying, learning from other people, and doing copies sometimes is a good way to understand, how they work. But at the end of the day, if that's all you do, and you're just like, let's say you only look at one artist and one artist only, then your work will look and reflect their art like so easily all the time because that's just kind of the nature of that.
Yeah, it's like being a super artist, you know, like what is like the most perfect version of yourself that you can be. You know, for me it's like, well, man, I would love to have like, you know, Nathan Falk's color ability, have like Jamie Jones painterly style, have like John Park's design sense. It's those kind of things that over time they kind of influence you in a way, and then you kind of create your own little thing to a point where it's almost hard for people to tell where you're drawing your inspiration from, I suppose. But I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a certain style, I would say. But I think it's bad if you're just copying that one person or only just doing one thing. If anything, you should be exploring all kinds of styles and just figuring out ways to use it for yourself. I think it's always a great study just to explore different styles. Things that are just completely different. Something that's like just cartoony to hyper-realistic. Just understanding everything can only make you better.
Cool. We got to end the stream, guys. Bea is telling us to go eat dinner.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Is she in the stream?
Yeah, she was.
Sorry, man.
That's fine. That's my wife. I love her.
My bad.
All right. So you guys heard it here. Our executive producer, my wife, just told us to get the hell out. So
Yeah.
I'll see you guys. Thanks, guys, for watching the stream. I'll just kind of talk a little bit about what I did today. I'll probably do some more the next stream. But one thing that I did, I gathered a bunch of reference for myself to kind of get me going, and then I duplicated the window so that way I can have it 2 windows open on the same reference sheet. And then I just started painting, and I did one painting of what I think would be cool food fight zigs, and then I did like a freaking Breaking Bad zigs, and then I was like, I don't know, that I should get back to the food fight, and that's kind of what I was about to do right here. Let's do another version to see if I can keep iterating on this idea. I think it'd be really fun, and it'll be a pretty interesting illustration. But I will explore this, and if I don't like it, then I will start over and just keep working until I find a thing that I want to do. But this will all be part of the exploration, right? Be all part of the exploration of this process and making this illustration. I want to get better at drawing the zigs too. I haven't drawn them, so I don't really know how to draw them very well. And so I'm going to keep drawing him until I feel much better. And so when I go to illustrate him, it'll be a much easier and less daunting task. So, thanks guys for participating. I'll be creating a thread sometime next week. I have a lot of stuff I had to get done this week. But next week I'll start a thread and I'll put it up for you guys to follow, and you guys can ask questions there. And then when we host these streams, I'll be kind of working on this. Maybe not. Maybe I'll do demonstrations, but we'll see. The next stream, we'll see what the topic is. We're still working on the structure of this thing, but we're doing good so far. We've been keeping pretty consistent, which is great. But thanks, guys. And if for anyone who wants to watch this, watch the other ones that are on our YouTube channel, and then we'll post that up some other. We'll get all these links eventually and post them more effectively. But yeah, like I said, we're getting started. This is the 6th one. Maybe when we're on our 100th one, we'll be like real pro. We'll have our own intro music, not the Imagine Dragons. Yeah.
Imagine Dragons.
I love it, dude. Whatever. I don't care what people have to say.
Over it.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, everybody, and peace.